Okay, wait, this is wild. The Supreme Court just struck down President Trump's massive global tariffs. You would think that means prices on imported goods are about to plummet, right? Nope, because within hours of the ruling, the White House found a legal loophole and replaced them entirely. The highest court in the land said no, and the administration essentially said, watch this.
Here is exactly what happened. In a landmark 6-3 decision, Chief Justice John Roberts ruled that the president cannot use a 1977 emergency law called IEEPA to unilaterally tax imports. Roberts argued that the law contains zero reference to tariffs. The Constitution is crystal clear. The power to levy taxes and duties belongs exclusively to Congress. The president overstepped.
This ruling completely upended the system. It instantly invalidated the legal foundation of the administration's entire trade strategy. And it created a massive financial liability. Suddenly, an estimated $160 billion in collected tariffs became completely illegal. Just let that number sink in. $160 billion. That is roughly the entire GDP of Kuwait, collected unlawfully. Now, U.S. importers and massive retailers are lining up to demand refunds for every single cent they paid under the old rules. You have companies realizing they are legally entitled to billions back from the federal government. But the White House didn't blink. They pivoted instantly.
President Trump immediately terminated the illegal tariffs and invoked a completely different statute, Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. This obscure 1970s law lets the executive branch impose temporary import surcharges to fix severe balance of payments deficits.
Under this new authority, the administration slapped a fresh 10% global tariff on incoming goods, with stated plans to hike it to the legal maximum of 15%. Critics are already screaming that this is illegal too. They argue Section 122 was designed for fixed exchange rate crises, which the U.S. simply does not have right now.
In fact, 24 states just filed a massive lawsuit in the Court of International Trade to block these new duties. But the courts move slowly, and for now, the new tariffs are actively being collected at the border. So are things getting cheaper at the store? Barely.
The Tax Policy Center estimates that swapping the old tariffs for these new ones will slightly lower costs for industries like apparel, fabricated metals, and automobiles. We are talking about dropping the added cost from 15% down to about 8%. It is a discount, but a massive price floor remains firmly in place.
Plus, older tariffs on specific industries remain totally untouched by the Supreme Court. But here is the massive twist. Section 122 is not unlimited. By law, these new tariffs are strictly capped at 150 days. They have a hard expiration date written right into the statute. That means on July 24, 2026, they automatically expire. Poof! Gone. If the president wants to keep them going past that date, he needs explicit approval from Congress. And getting that legislative approval is highly uncertain.
Both the House and Senate have already passed bills expressing loud disapproval of his previous unilateral tariffs. Lawmakers are fiercely protective of their constitutional power to tax. If you run a business, manage a retail store, or just buy groceries, you are now trapped in a precarious 5-month window of total unpredictability.
Global supply chains take years to build, and right now they are hinging on a highly uncertain legislative vote. The Supreme Court didn't end the trade fight. They just moved the decision down the street to the Capitol. Will Congress actually pull the plug?